Who is enforcing this on-demand gender check? You didn't put that into the bill. Seems a little creepy that we don't know who's going to be determining genders here. Ms. Hageman, I'm deferring to you. You're the only one that wants to speak on this. It's interesting, you're the only one who wants to speak on this. No one else will even touch this, because it's kind of creepy that you're setting up on-demand gender checks. Kind of obvious.
Order? Are you calling me creepy?
I'm saying it's creepy that you're setting up an on-demand gender check and you won't tell us how you're going to enforce it.
May I respond to that? Will you engage in it colloquially?
Tell me how you're going to enforce it, yes.
Well, according to the U.S. boxing transgender policy, they're the ones that plan on doing the inspection. The athlete has declared that her gender identity is female and has completed gender reassignment surgery. So not protecting girls and women
how do they inspect
protects us. That, I guess you're going to have to ask the Boxing Association.
Shouldn't you know? This is your bill.
They're the ones that have adopted the policy.
I reclaim my time. They don't know. They don't know. They see a small issue that's happening in a few communities, and they want to extrapolate that across America, and they want you to think it's a thing. It's not a thing. Mr. Chairman, it's over. It's over. It's time to pack it up. Fox News isn't even carrying this today. In fact, one of their anchors, as they broke away 10 minutes in, said, this is the same hearing over and over and over. At what point are you going to fish or cut bait? So I just have to tell you, it's over. Impeachment's over. Dunzo. Bye-bye. Rigor mortis. Lights out. Curtain drop. Mic drop. Peace. Adios. Sayonara. Au revoir. Or a language that you all understand, doi sivdanya. Did I say that right, Mr. Parnas?
Yes.
I dare you to impeach, but you won't because you don't have the evidence. And because you don't have the evidence, you don't have the votes. Guys, it's dead. And so I'm here to pronounce the time of death. $5:16.
Say it in Chinese.
Impeachment is dead. 5:16. Biden impeachment's dead. Joe Biden has been acquitted. And this entire Congress has been Jim Jordan and MAGA Republicans feeding Trump. They're just feeding the beast with the insane hearings that they're holding all over the Capitol. That's why these three witnesses have been pulled out of the important work they do, is because Trump is not eating. This isn't Top Chef. This is the United States Congress. We were sent here to govern. We're not sent here to work every day on behalf of one person. He's not eating, and that's why you're here, to feed him. Have you all lost your minds? You are talking about a bill that your side wrote. This was your bill. James Lankford is the second most conservative member of the Senate. The second most conservative member of the Senate. This is your guy. He wrote the bill. He wrote the toughest border security bill that has come out of the Senate. And President Biden engaged with him, with other Democrats, to find a solution. Because they're in the solutions business. And you're in the chaos business.
The reality is there are significant concerns and impacts of illegal aliens on the communities that we represent. That's the truth. My Democratic colleagues don't want to talk about that. They want to hide behind a Senate bill that had no chance, zero, of passage, was purposely constructed to give cover for those who know full well, because the American people are very clearly seeing it with their eyes, that this administration is purposely failing to secure the border of the United States. With Democrats like Mark Elias, who is out there doing what? Challenging laws in Arizona to make it not possible for those who are here illegally to vote. Now, why would he do that? Why do you suppose he would do that? I don't know. Got some thoughts on that. I think it's pretty self-evident. I've been in this godforsaken town long enough to know that I'm going to get a bill that, as the bill we're voting on this week, busts the caps, spends more money, increases interest, increases spending, doesn't actually make any of the policy changes we promised. That's the town. You can actually oppose it beforehand, with almost 100% degree certainty when you know exactly what's coming out through the system. And the system in this bill, which was very clear from all the signals being sent by the usual suspects, including the Chamber of Commerce Republicans, my colleagues on the other side of the aisle are alluding to, who were praising the bill, the same Republicans who have been complicit for several decades in allowing a border situation to get to the situation where we have thousands of Texans who are getting impacted by what's actually happening.
So let me bring everybody back to reality and give you a little history lesson. The reason you oppose the bill is not because you have any policy issues with it. It addresses everything that you've been talking about for the last couple of years. Because all I have heard from any of you is noun, verb, border. Noun, verb, border. That's all you know. And then you get a border bill from the second most conservative member of the Senate, and let me tell you why you oppose it. You oppose it because Donald Trump opposes it. That's it. That is the simplest explanation. Occam's razor. The simplest explanation is the correct one. Donald Trump opposes it because Donald Trump wants to be president, because Donald Trump has 91 felony counts that he's facing, and the only way that those go away and he is not held accountable is if he's president. And if the noun, verb, border plan is no longer working and he can't use that as an issue, then he may not be president. So he says, I don't support this. I want the issue, not the solution. And so you all, God, I don't know what it feels like to be so helpless to have to follow somebody like Donald Trump. Follow Donald Trump. And it's fine. I get it. You must see yourselves as so very tiny and so very small when you look at Donald Trump. And he's so big that he looms so large over you that you would do anything that he says to support him. But that is the reality. This is not a policy dispute. Donald Trump wants the border issue, and so you're going to go along with Donald Trump. That's it. He's not eating. He's not eating. Mar-a-Lago, what the hell, Kevin? They're really worried, McCarthy said. Trump's not eating, so they asked me to come see him. What? You went to Mar-a-Lago because Trump's not eating? Liz Cheney responded. He's really depressed, McCarthy said. That's why we're here. This is not the first feast for the beast. In fact, we've seen this the whole Congress. We saw the creation of the Weaponization Committee. There have been multiple investigations into the investigation of Hunter Biden. There's been an investigation into the prosecutor who indicted Hunter Biden. There have been efforts to defund the FBI, who were a part of a raid onto Mar-a-Lago. There's been an effort to undermine the New York District Attorney's investigation into the former president. They brought in prosecutors who were a part of that investigation. There have been letters to Fani Willis in her January 6th investigation into the former president. So you're just here as a part of an effort to feed the beast. And Jim Jordan, who has assembled this hearing today, and the other MAGA Republicans are just working every day as Trump's chef. And then there's the comical hypocrisy that Jim Jordan would convene a hearing around anyone's subpoena compliance. You see, we are now 567 days, 19 hours, 12 minutes, and 35 seconds into Jim Jordan refusing to comply with the subpoena for his involvement in January 6th, an attack on the Capitol. And you would think that a member of Congress who has sworn an oath to defend the Constitution would want to help their government in the largest investigation the country has ever taken. The largest investigation with the most indictments, the most witnesses, the most trials around a single event. The chairman of this committee, who's got a problem with the subpoena compliance, and we're going to talk about the over-compliance that we've seen from your agencies. It's just comical that he would call a hearing to complain about you complying with subpoenas when he, 567 days in, won't even comply with the zone. And these claims, it's clear that what Republicans want to do to impeach Joe Biden is not working. They can't draw the straight line between what they think Hunter Biden did and what they want Joe Biden to have done. They may prove at the end of this Congress that Hunter Biden is Joe Biden's son, that may be coming, but they have not proved anything else, and so they're trying to draw the foul. They're going to ask for dozens, hundreds, thousands of documents, and they're going to hope that you're not going to respond to one of them, so now they have an obstruction of justice case to use as the predicate for impeachment. I also want to talk about the transcribed interviews, because you all have sent to this committee 92 individuals to be a part of transcribed private interviews. Not for the public to observe, but 92 private transcribed interviews. Take a guess at how many of those interviews have resulted in a public hearing. It's 0. It is all theater. It is all to feed the beast, because Donald Trump's not eating. So they have to haul these people in. They learn in private that there is no wrongdoing, and so we never hear about it in public. Finally, the center of so many of these investigations has been the current president's son. And you would think, after a year of hearings about the current president's son and the indictments against the current president's son and the prosecutors involved in the case of the current president's son and the private transcribed interviews around the current president's son, that you would see the Republicans bring in for a public hearing the president's son. And so what happened this week? The Republicans subpoena Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden says, great, I'll come in, I'll testify publicly. And Jim Jordan and James Comer, they can't take yes for an answer. They don't want him to testify publicly. And it's for the same reason that the other 92 witnesses have never come in.
Chair recognizes Mr. Swalwell for 5 minutes.
Mr. Bobulinski, in your interactions with the Biden family, which you've told us all about throughout the day, did you ever observe the Chinese government grant 22 patents to any of Joe Biden's children while Joe Biden was in office?
I did not.
Did you ever observe the Chinese government, did you ever observe Joe Biden ever own or operate any hotels while he was in public office and take millions of dollars from foreign governments?
I did not.
Did you ever observe Joe Biden employ any of his children or their spouses in the White House as vice president or president?
I did not. I can't speak to that.
Did you ever observe, while observing the Bidens install a family member to be the co-chair of the DNC?
I'm sorry, ask the question again?
Did you ever observe the Bidens install a family member to be the co-chair of the Democratic National Committee?
I did not.
Did President Biden or anyone in his family take $2 billion from the Saudi government?
Not that I'm aware of.
Did President Biden or anyone in his family get fined $355 million for tax fraud?
Not that I'm aware of.
Mr. Parnas, as you've observed Mr. Bobulinski today and his fealty and dedication and loyalty to the Trump family, is that something you recognize as somebody who was also in that cult before?
Absolutely.
Is there hope for our man Tony here?
Very little, I think, until he hits a brick wall.
And in your experience, on a scale of 1 to 10, how eager was the Trump campaign in your interactions to manufacture dirt on Joe Biden? 1 to 10, 10 being the highest.
10 plus.
10 plus. Would it surprise you, Mr. Parnas, that the Russians and in their disinformation campaign outlets have often cited Chairman Comer's testimony and allegations against the Biden family to make their own allegations against Joe Biden?
No, it doesn't surprise me because that's exactly what they want to happen.
Mr. Chairman, it's over. It's over. It's time to pack it up. And I want to give you the top 10 reasons why impeachment is dead. Number 10, your key witness today is testifying from the slammer. Number 9, key evidence of a bribe that you all relied on. The guy who said that has been indicted for lying about that bribe, and he's a Russian asset. Number 8, another key witness has been indicted as a Chinese agent. Number 7, during the Hunter Biden interview, Mr. Chairman, you didn't even stay for the whole time. Number 6, Chairman Jason Smith didn't show up at all to the Hunter Biden interview. The same day, number 5, Darrell Issa said it's a big nothing. Number 4, today Jim Jordan began his remarks not by relying on any evidence for this investigation, but he went off attacking the DOJ about what they're doing with the Catholics. Number 3, you all still have not sent the articles of impeachment for the Mayorkas impeachment to the Senate, and that happened last month. Number 2, you're now talking about a criminal referral, but if you had evidence for a criminal referral, then you have evidence to impeach somebody for high crimes and misdemeanors. And number 1, and I'm sorry to say this, Fox News isn't even carrying this today. Guys, it's dead. And so I'm here to pronounce the time of death. .516.
Say it in Chinese.
Impeachment is dead. 516. Biden impeachment's dead. Joe Biden has been acquitted.
I do not believe that it is kind or compassionate to erase biological women and girls and pretend that they are the same thing as a man who claims to be a girl. I do not believe that that is kind and compassionate. I do not believe that it is kind or compassionate to allow men and boys to dominate women's athletics. I do not believe that it is kind or compassionate to deny a girl a college scholarship because a boy was faster and stronger. Stop attacking Republicans simply because we're trying to protect women and girls. We are very sincere in our belief that it is critically important that women and girls are able to access and participate in athletics. We believe that it is incredibly important that 13-year-old girls are able to play volleyball and basketball without the risk of being injured by a man or a boy.
Gentleman from California is recognized.
I guess it's a good thing that some folks on the other side are now interested in what happens in a locker room, and we're not going to look the other way. Okay? I'll accept that. But this is something that is not a thing. It's not a thing. We have things happening in our community that are a thing. Kids getting mowed down by assault rifles at their school, that's a thing. Young women in their community having IVF treatments banned, that's a thing. Women being forced into government-mandated pregnancies, that's a thing. And those are all things that we can address in this committee. But okay, I'll play out this exercise with y'all. How are you going to enforce this? I know I'm yielding to somebody over there. Tell me, how are you going to enforce this? This is an on-demand gender check that you want to be a part of now. So who's enforcing it? Is Mr. Jordan enforcing it? Is Mr. Gates enforcing it? There are things. Gun violence, fertility bans, government-mandated pregnancies, those are things. This is not a thing.